Hello everybody! Welcome to our last lesson in the lines of geometry. Last time we talked about the slopes of lines. Today we're talking about the equations of lines. So in general, there's three main forms for an equation of a line. AX plus BY equals C, that's standard form. Y equals MX plus B is slope-intercept form. And this last crazy looking one is called point slope form. And we're just going to focus on these bottom two today. So let's start with point slope form. And the reason these forms are named the way they are is because when you look at them, you can see certain characteristics of the line. So for point slope form, when you look at it, you can see a point that the line goes through and the slope of the line. So the point is what I've put in blue there, x1, y1, and the slope is m. All right, so let's see how this works out. Here's a bunch of lines, and we're going to start by writing an equation for line R. I put that in green there. And let's put it through the point -2, 1. Now the slope of the line, if you just count rise over run, is 1. So now everything that I put in black up there in the equation always stays the same. So you can just get that ready and just fill it in with the stuff that you know. So let's put the point in first. The x value goes sort of in the x section, -2, and the y goes in the y section. And then the slope goes right at the front of those parentheses. Now we can clean that up a little bit. We know that if you subtract a negative, that's the same as adding. So really this equation is y minus 1 equals 1 times x plus 2. And that 1 that's there in front of the parentheses, you can leave it there if you want, or you don't have to write it. Let's try another one. We're going to write an equation for line S. I've put it in green there. And we're going to put it through point 1, 0. The slope of that line, rise over run, you can just count it, is -2. So again, all the black stuff stays the same. Now we just fill in the information that we know. So we can put the x value, 1, sort of with the other x, and the y value, 0, with the y, and then the slope goes before the parentheses. And we just clean that up a little bit. We've got y equals -2 times the quantity x minus 1. All right, line T, let's try that one. We're going to put it through the point 1, 0 again. This time, though, it has a slope of 3. So speeding this up just a little bit, you should get y minus 0 equals 3 times the quantity x minus 1. And clean that up a little bit. And then finally, let's write an equation for line U. And we'll go through the point 3, -4. The slope of line U is 1/3. So if you plug in the information you know, what would it look like? Y minus -4 equals 1/3 x minus 3. That y minus -4, we can make a y plus 4. And we get y plus 4 equals 1/3 times the quantity x minus 3. That's point slope form. Now we're going to transition into slope-intercept form. We're going to find the equations of all the same lines again, but in a different form. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, and the reason it's called that is because you can see the y-intercept and you can see the slope. So the y-intercept for line R, which is where we're going to start, is 0, 3. That's where the line crosses the y-axis. And the slope, as it was before, is 1. As before, the stuff I have in black never changes. So you can write that down and just fill in the information you know. The y-intercept is 3, so we pop a 3 on the end there. And the slope is 1. And again, you can leave the 1 there if you'd like to, or you can take the 1 away. It doesn't matter. Let's do line S. The y-intercept for line S, where it crosses the x-axis, is 0, 2. The slope again is -2. So we're going to have y equals something x plus something. All right, so the y-intercept is 2 and the slope is -2. Line T, we've got a y-intercept of 0, -3. and a slope of 3. So you should get 3x minus 3. And then finally, line U, it's got a y-intercept of 0, -5, and a slope of 1/3. So pop that into our slope-intercept form, and you get y equals 1/3 x minus 5. So now we took those 4 lines and we found the equations for them twice, once in point-slope form and once in slope-intercept form. Now here's the question. What's the difference between point-slope form and slope-intercept form? For line U, we originally got y plus 4 equals 1/3 x minus 3. That was point-slope form. The second time we did it, we got 1/3 x minus 5. But are those the same thing? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take point-slope form and solve for y. We're going to rearrange the equation just a little bit to see what happens. So in order to rearrange this equation, we're going to take the 1/3 and distribute it through the parentheses. So you get y plus 4 equals 1/3 x minus 1, because 1/3 of 3 is 1. And then we can subtract 4 from both sides, and you get y equals 1/3 x minus 5. So by rearranging it, you can see, they're basically the same thing. You can use either form of an equation, just depending on what information you have or what information you're looking for. So we'll do some practice. Write the equations in slope-intercept form of the line having the given information. Slope-intercept form, that's y equals mx plus b. And we're given that m equals -4 and b equals 3. It should be y equals -4 plus 3. What if the slope is 3 and the y-intercept is -8? Y equals 3x minus 8. Now we're going to use point-slope form, okay? And we're given the slope is -1/2, and one of the points that the line goes through is -2, 5. So we just have to take point-slope form and plug in the information we know. Let's try the next one. The slope of 1/3, a point of -3, -8, and you get y plus 8 equals 1/3 x plus 3. All right, we're using slope-intercept form again, and we know that the slope is 2 and the point is 5, 2. But we don't want it in point-slope form, we want it in slope-intercept form. All right, so watch this. We know that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We actually have m, and we have a y value, and we have an x value. 5 is the x value, and 2 is the y value. So we're going to plug all that stuff in that we know and solve for b. So m became 2, okay? And then here's that y value of 2 we put for y, and the 5 here we put in here, okay? Now let's clean that up. We got 2 equals 10 plus b, subtract 10 from both sides, so b equals -8. Okay, now we can just go ahead and plug that back into the y equals mx plus b is y equals 2x minus 8. Let's try another one like that. We know slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. We're going to plug in the -3 for m, the 2 for x, and the -4 for y. We can use that information to solve for b. So -3 times 2, that's -6. We're going to add 6 to both sides, and we get that b is 2. Now we have enough information to plug that back in, and slope-intercept form is y equals -3x plus 2. Next one, still looking for slope-intercept form, and all we know is that the line contains the points 2, 0 and 0, 10. So step 1, we need to find the slope. So slope, again, is the difference in the y values over the difference in the x values, 10 minus 0 over 0 minus 2, which is -5. And then you can pick either point to solve for b. Doesn't matter which point you pick. So I picked 2, 0. I put the 0 in for the y value, the 2 and for the x value, and I know the slope is -5, and then solve for b. And there I have my slope-intercept form, y equals -5x plus 10. All right, we're getting close to the end here. So we need another slope-intercept form, but we know that the x-intercept is -2 and the y-intercept is -1. Well, what does that mean? First of all, let's translate that into 2 points. If the x-intercept is -2, that's -2, 0. And if the y-intercept is -1, that's 0, -1. Now we can find the slope. -1 minus 0 over 0 plus 2. So we get a slope of -1/2. And actually, we already know the y-intercept is 0, -1, so we can just pop that right into slope-intercept form. -1/2 x minus 1. All right, we're going to write an equation for the following scenario. A group of friends wants to go to a football game. Parking is $8 and each ticket costs $55. Let y be the total cost of going to the football game. So we need an equation that represents the cost of a football game. Let's use the form y equals mx plus b, because what we have hiding in here is this starting point of $8. That's actually the y-intercept. And then this 55 per ticket, that's the slope. So y equals 55x plus 8. 2 more problems. We're going to determine if the following lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So the one on the left here, it's really easy to find the slope of this one. It's just -2 over 5. This one's kind of all mixed up. But if we solve for y, and we're going to take this form, this is standard form, we're going to rearrange it to put it into slope-intercept form, then we can compare real easily. So let's see, I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, then divide everything by 10. I get y equals -4/10 x minus 14. And then this right here, let's reduce that fraction, and you get y equals -2/5 x minus 14. And now we can compare. -2/5, -2/5, that's the same, so those lines are parallel. Last one. Again, determine if the following lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. We're going to take this one right here, this is in standard form, and rearrange it to be in slope-intercept form so we can compare the slopes. I'm going to subtract 3y from both sides and add 180 to both sides. And then divide everything by -3. So let's compare the slopes. Those are negative reciprocals of each other. They're flipped and have opposite signs, so those are perpendicular lines. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.